Good morning, friends. Good morning, females. Good morning, males. Good morning, blacks, whites, oranges, all that good stuff. If you're human, I welcome you to this podcast. If you're a dog or a cat, you're welcome too, but you can't write anything in the comments, so you're welcome, but you're not really welcome. Anyway, welcome to another episode of The Purposely Broken World. I am your host, Mr. Kevin Nunez. I am a disability life advocate. Some people say disability rights, and it is that. It really is disability rights. But in other ways, it's also disability life. Because there are certain aspects when you live with a disability that no one else can understand. Especially because every person living with a disability is affected differently by that disability. Disability is a strange word because usually dis means something without, and ability is an ability. If you break it down, it means without an ability to do something. It impedes you. It stops you from doing something. Well, in my case, and in the case of so many like me, yes, there are 1,000 things we can't do. I can't walk. I've never jumped up and down. I've never swam in a pool at night with a pretty girl. I have a wonderful friend, I have a wonderful family, but there are certain aspects to my life that they simply cannot understand. And so this episode is targeted for parents and, of course, elected officials. I want people to understand disability in 20 minutes or less. Probably not gonna happen, but we're gonna shoot to try to understand what a disability life is all about. First of all, I was diagnosed, as I said in the last episode, with cerebral palsy. I was diagnosed, I'm gonna say basically since birth. I think officially I was diagnosed at like 4 or 5. Officially, quote unquote. But there was something wrong with me from the get-go. We knew that. That's what happens when you are born premature and you spend the first month and a half of your life in an incubator. But I was born in Puerto Rico, so medical situation there was not the best. We all know how that goes. So like I said, diagnosed pretty much since birth. The hardest, I wouldn't even say the hardest. The most misunderstood thing about disability is that there are no days off with disabilities. There are no breaks when they have a disability. Every kid growing up was used to, spring break or winter break for Christmas. But regardless of what season it was, regardless of what holiday it was, for me, I still woke up and I was still placed in my wheelchair every day. It's probably going to be that way until the day I die. I don't remember life without a wheelchair. My first memory is probably getting my first wheelchair. People say, "Oh, do you have a license to drive?" I've been driving since first grade. I don't drive a car, but I know more about public safety and traffic laws than most folks. Cause fun fact, even though I'm not in a car, my vehicle, because it has a battery and a motor, I'm still liable to all regular traffic laws. There have been people that have been pulled over in wheelchairs. Don't get it wrong, don't get it twisted. Um, in my life, my first chair was when I was in first grade. I am now 37. You get a new chair about every 5 or 6 years. So try to do the math. I can't even think about how many wheelchairs I've had. And that's just the main chair. Not even counting chairs to travel with or chairs that were broken and that got totaled for whatever reason. But needless to say, wheelchair is my legs. They are my main source of mobility. Here's the tricky part though. I'm just one person. There are so many individuals out there that have the same diagnosis as cerebral palsy, but it's affecting them differently. And I think that's what people misconstrue. Yes, I'm the lucky one because I'm here, I'm talking to you on the microphone. But I want people to understand that I may have been born disabled, but everyone else is just temporarily abled. And that is often forgot about. Because there's only two things that are certain in this life. Death and disability. It used to be death and taxes, but we both know you can get away with not paying taxes. Ask Wesley Snipes. Eventually, they find out, but you still got away without paying taxes for a long time. So you don't have to pay taxes if you know how not to pay taxes. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, disability is not a lifestyle. It's not a life choice. Because this was not my choice. So many parents and family people and just society in general, they don't want to admit this. But they are deathly afraid of disability. This country spends billions and billions of dollars teaching children about drugs and how to avoid drugs. Back when I was a kid, they used to have this thing called DARE. Drug Awareness Resistance Education. DARE. It's probably something else now, I'm sure. I'm sure all these kids have other new names for it. But a police officer would come in about once a week or so, and we just talk about drugs and the impact it have on us as kids. Why can't we have that for the youth today? A class starting in 1st or 2nd grade, going over the basics of disability and how to treat them like people. One time as an adult, I was sitting with my brother in a doctor's office. One of the staff walked by, because I think I was sitting, you know, you have your arm propped up against someone, just subconsciously you're just going to put your hand there. She said, "You look like people." What does a person look like? What does a person sound like? What does a person feel like? Again, I know those are bigger questions you might not even have answers for. But that's the whole point of this podcast, is to think about tough questions. When you see a person with a disability, what is your initial reaction? Is it pity? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it love? Is it support? Is it joy? What is it? Again, I want to give you questions to think about. Hey friends, sorry for interrupting the podcast. I need your attention for a quick second. As you probably figured out by now, This is a labor of love. It's just me and Jesus putting this thing together. I've got no major sponsors. I really don't want major sponsors. This is value for value. Whatever value you think you get out of this is what I want back. You can donate directly through PayPal and Cashapp. All the links are in the description below. You can always follow me on social media. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff as well. I've written 2 books, Living Beyond Disability book series. Look that up on Amazon, Living Beyond Disability. I've got a published newsletter for paid subscribers that comes out twice a month on Mondays, every other Monday. My regular blogs that are free go out every single Thursday. Check those out as well. Besides that, just like and share, tell your friends. There's no pressure to do anything at all. With that being said, back to the show. Thanks as always for your time and support. After you listen to this podcast, my goal is to have this podcast be shared. Not for Kevin, because who the hell is Kevin? Kevin is nobody. Kevin is okay with being nobody. It took me 37 years to find out, to realize, to remember, in a way that no one else can understand. I know there will be members of my family who don't understand aspects of my disability. Is disability fun? No, not always. Is disability joyful? No, not always. Is it painful? Yes, but not always. But if you think about it, that's just like any other part of life. I could talk for hours, even within our own disability community. There's arguments about disability hierarchy. One person's journey is that person's journey. Let me give you an example. So society is more accepting of someone who is paralyzed, either from the chest down or the waist down, over someone like me, because they were once considered normal. To go a step further, Judy Human was told, if you read her book, Becoming Human, that if she was going to marry someone, it had to be someone with polio, because polio is also like the most acceptable disability, because it was considered as close to normal as you can get. Will I need help every day of my life? Yes. Can I do things on my own? Yes. Can I do this podcast on my own? Yes. Once my dad or my caregiver sets up my setup here. It's very DIY, it's very me. I would love to have my own little studio set up to do podcasts, but as of right now, it's probably not going to happen. But the point of this is to tell you that because of my disability, I am being closer and more loving to my family. I have no question, none whatsoever, that without my disability, I would have been such a little asshole. And it's my podcast, so I can say asshole. Disability teaches you how not to be selfish. It humbles you every single second of your life. It humbles you every single moment. There are some days where I struggle just to open a jar, but so does everybody else. The difference is, if you see me do it, you feel bad because you think, oh, he has a disability. I've literally had girls run away from me because they found out they had a date with a guy in a wheelchair. Like, this girl ran from me. as if I was Michael Myers. I want to stop the fear of disability. I want to make it as normal as seeing a pretty girl on the sidewalk. Will these words do this? Maybe not today. But I want people to have conversations, to listen to each other, especially elected officials. People want to put all this angst on the current administration, on Congress, on Medicaid. Yes, those things are important. Yes, we need to fight for those protections and rights. But how many times have you seen someone like me go into a church and you instantly turn away? How many times has a mother told her son or daughter, shh, because they saw I have a disability if they go ask a question? Let your children ask questions. As long as it's a polite ask, I will answer it every single time. If you as an adult have a question, as long as it's asked politely, I will answer it every single time. Even if they're nonverbal, go to their person who is verbal, and they will answer it every single time. Don't go up to me and demand to pray for me because you think there's a demon inside me. I love my Jesus. Jesus is number one. Always and forever. Am I a sinner? Yes, absolutely. I have a whole past that most people don't even know about. I've watched my own share of dirty movies. Don't get it twisted. But do I think this is a punishment? No. Never. I used to. That could be a whole episode in itself. It's just how I thought this was a hell and a punishment and all this and all that. But I've learned the hardest part about disability is accepting your disability as part of your person, as part of yourself. And a lot of people don't do that, even when they're normal, quote unquote. They like to separate different aspects of their lives. Disability, I can't hide from it. I'm a nerve. It's always exposed. It's always out. It is what it is. But it's a good thing because I have to show you my weaknesses so I can trigger my strengths. Without my weaknesses that are perceived, you don't see the more of me there is. How many people, they try to hide their weaknesses and project this false sense of perfection or bravado because, God forbid, the world see them as something bad or something wrong. Guess what? It took me 33 years. I'm 37, but this whole journey started when I was 33. To understand that this disability was the biggest blessing of my life. The hard times, the good times, the nights in the hospital alone, the days of feeling lonely without a girlfriend. Yes, it's a thing. It's all for a good reason. Are some days harder than others? Absolutely. I will never deny that, ever. But guess what? In order to get to the good, you have to go to the bad. People ask me all the time, how are you so positive? How are you so joyful? Because the bad thing already happened to me. It's only up from there. That's what I have for this episode. Please leave a like and a comment and a subscription. Hit all the buttons. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. Thank you all very, very, very much. And I will see you next time. God bless.